Talon is a great low maintenance carry that can serve you consistent top 4s or better depending on how hard you hit the comp. While everyone is rolling for mecha units, you can secure this carry mostly uncontested. Let's break down Renegade Talon.
The early game is where your main focus will be. The main goal is to play Renegade 3, Aux Force 2. At level 5, this is how your board should look. Fiora and Annie are the most likely second Aux Force to play. The Alistar is the high roll option. You can splash an Aegis, Spellslinger, Duelist, or Mascot depending on what you find. Aegis or Mascot are best to add durability, but play whatever you can until you can hit more Aux Force units. If you high rolled a ton of early Talons, then you want to commit to rolling down at level 4, but only if you manage to get 5 or 6 Talons. If not, then slow roll at level 5 until you do have 5 or 6 and full commit with 50 plus gold. You're looking for Talon, but can also 3-star Annie and Fiora. It's possible to hit Silas and Camille 3-star as well, but keep in mind, only do so if you plan to go for Renegade 6. Otherwise, they'll be replaced late game by Viego and Leona, so you can skip them. From the mid game onward, your main concern is which synergies to play and what options you have. You want to be adding in as many Aux Forces as you can. The attack speed boosts are super useful to get more spells out. Aside from that, Aegis is the main splash trait to play around. If you get a lucky Echo, it's worth considering playing Aegis 3 into heavy AP enemies. If that happens, you should also splash in Mascot too, and this is how it'll look. Galio is the ideal mascot to splash because of the added civilian buff mana, but any mascot can do the job. Remember, you only play this into heavy AP boards. This isn't something you want to maintain. Use it when needed and drop it for Aux Force 4 instead. Now in the late game, there's 2 main boards. First, let's cover Aux Force 6. At level 9, you cap out your board with Aphelios 2, Leona 2, and Viego 2-star. The main benefit is being able to splash in Aegis 4, meaning it's very broken into AP comps. Against AD boards, splashing in 2 defenders for Echo and Vi is hard to justify, because Echo is good at keeping Viego and Talon safe. That's something you will have to decide on. The other board to consider is Renegade 6. Here it's mostly the same, except instead of Echo and Vi, you have Silas and Camille. In this situation, going for 3-star Silas and Camille is solid, and if you don't hit 3-star Annie and Fiora, you can drop to Aux Force 4 and pick up the last 2 Aegis units anyway. So you're mainly playing around whichever 3-star units you hit. The more Aux Force 3-stars you have, the better Aux Force 6 feels in the late game. From here, items, augments, and positioning will decide the game, so let's cover that now. If you want to climb the rank ladder and improve, you need to sub to my channel, so you never miss out on the latest meta updates and comp guides like this one. For items, Talon has a couple of options. First, you always want Jeweled Gauntlet, but Infinity Edge is doable if you can't get a rod. Second is a heal item. Hand of Justice gives bonus AP and more crit damage, while Bloodthirster is more consistent heals and a shield. If you lack damage, Hand of Justice might be better. Your third item changes. Ionic Spark is considered standard for the resistance shredding, but if you already slammed Shiv on another unit, you should make a power item instead. Guardbreaker makes sense in this meta where shields are rampant, but Death Cap is also okay, and Giant Slayer and Archangel Staff are a feels bad last resort. Now for tank items, this comp focuses heavily on damage items instead, so you may not get the chance to play them often, but if you do, focus on utility items most of all. Redemption, Sunfire Cape, and Locket, as well as Protector's Vow, all help to buff your renegades. If you're playing Echo, Gargoyle Stoneplay is also good as he taunts enemies to him. Now let's move on to augments. Hustler is super broken right now for one main reason. Since you don't earn interest, you can keep rolling down to 0 without any penalty, so keep smashing rolls and hitting your units. Golden Ticket is another great reroll augment. Always take this when you haven't hit your carries yet, otherwise you can skip it. Trade Sector is powerful on 2-1 because you'll get a ton more shops, but you can skip this if you're close to level 6 or you already hit Talon 3-star. Aux Force Crown is super powerful for hitting Aux Force 8, which is still useful and worth it if you get 2 emblems. Just give them to any 2 renegades for the extra attack speed. Battle Mage is super strong in this comp. You always want to take it as it provides your entire team with more damage and armor. Jeweled Lotus is also an S tier pick. This is like a free Jeweled Gauntlet on every renegade, letting you free up your items for another AP power or healing item. Always take this. Featherweights is a solid choice when you have multiple 1 or 2 cost 3-stars. It synergizes well with the Aux Force trait, so it's worth taking if you don't have other S tier choices. Celestial Blessing is a powerful healing augment, especially in the late game. If you find this and need healing, take it. Thrill of the Hunt is also a very powerful healing option. Since Viego and Talon do big burst damage, you're almost always going to get multi-kill heals when you use this. Now let's talk about hero augments. Both of Talon's choices are S tier picks. Edgelord is better than Oxy Rage because it lets Talon do back-to-back spells on kill. Fiora's Vitality of the Ox is also a great S tier pick. The sustain is key to surviving rounds and makes use of Ox Force's invincibility. For our final S tier, Viego's augments are both great choices. If you get Heartbreaker, prioritize giving him damage items ASAP, but if you get partners in crime, he's still a great carry. Now our only A tier option, Echo's Chrono Break, is a board-wide stun, which is great for Talon and Viego to go on kill sprees, but it takes 10 seconds to activate, which is a long delay. Camille's Hextech Retribution is our first B tier choice. It's great for adding damage and synergizes with Aux Force and Renegade traits, but it forces you to drop Leona to play for Camille if you don't have an emblem, which makes the set matchup extremely difficult. Next up is Annie's Burning Spirit. It's a solid choice to add damage, but it's not as useful as Oxy Enrage or Partners in Crime. Now our last choice is Alistar's Smash. It's an overall weak choice, but at least it adds a little bit of CC to help clear the board. Now for positioning, the comp is mostly autopilot with some minor adjustments. Offensively, Talon jumps to the furthest target from the center, and Viego slams on the largest clump, so you can't control them. Lastly, Aphelios should always be using his purple stun gun to add more CC. Defensively, there are 1 to 2 tricks you can do to improve your team. 1. Always have Leona positioned to target enemy sets ASAP. She does true damage and won't stop until she or the enemy dies. This is a hard counter to the Mecha Prime set meta which is going on right now. 2. Always position Echo to where Talon is expected to jump. This way when he rolls and taunts, Talon is safe from any aggro. Talon will always jump to the left corner first and then to the right corner. Again, keep in mind, Talon prioritizes the target furthest from the center of the board. And number 3, make sure Talon and Viego are positioned so they don't get targeted by enemy carries first. You need to buy them time to cast their first spell and jump around the board. Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, I'm Swagadelic.